Why do we never get an answer when we're knocking at the door? With 1,000 million questions about hate and death and war. When we stop and look.
To this week's edition of Neighborhood Training. This week we are going to work on this peninsula here. We're not going to cover it all, but we're going to take it in a few different chunks. What they would call in the old days the Lewis Neck area of town, named for Thatcher Lewis, which is right on the corner of Acapesket Road. Now we of course know it as the Acapesket Peninsula. There are several different distinct neighborhoods in that area, so we're just going to take them apart one by one real easy, make a few short presentations rather than one large one. And this week we're going to work on the Shorewood off of 28 neighborhood. I know we've been there plenty of times before and there's no real surprises there, but we will review the roads just as well. And just as a reminder, of course, this is Great Pond, and so this body of water coming down through here is connected to Great Pond, so that's our best access. Remember, we talked about before there being a launching ramp off of Dexter Mills and off of Neves Way as well. So if we needed to do something in here, and just as the in aside, is that this estuary here is fed by this is the end of the Coonamessett River, starting at Coonamessett Pond, running all the way down through the bogs in John Parker, and then mixing with the saltwater inlet here. But as we can see, we look over that, we would know right off the bat that this area is pretty congested, just from our own experiences. It is a dead-end road, a long dead-end road. There's no way for these people to get on and off this area here except onto 28. So that does create a lot of traffic right here at this bad intersection here with 28 in Shorewood. The roads aren't really lined up that well, and as you can imagine, there's probably 250 to 500 houses in this neighborhood. It's probably about 250. Multiply that times 2. And so we got quite a few cars and a lot of traffic going through there. Okay, we will take a quick look at the one quick map just to show this whole area here is does have hydrants throughout the whole area, so we don't have to be too concerned about hydrants. They are pretty close together, so we're good with that. We will take a quick look and kind of go down the road from 28 and just see some of the features. These are all single-family dwellings ranging from 600 square feet on up to probably about 3,000. Right here off the bat, we're looking at 1,500 gallons a minute on the hydrant. So we're in pretty good shape as far as water is concerned on the street to battle a house fire there. And on the map it does show perhaps that Thatcher's Lane and Lewis Lane connect into Shorewood, but it's not the case. So her dispatcher should pay well attention to that. Don't get tricked by that. Our first road off of Shorewood, off of 28, is Family Lane. Only feeds a couple of houses right here. It shows this road here being Linda's Lane. I took a ride down there. Not really. This looks like somebody's driveway, more or less. And first road we come to is Avalon. If you think of that being the letter A, in the first letter of the alphabet. You could maybe perhaps easily remember that Avalon would be the first road, and it looks as though it would connect over to here, and perhaps through the woods it could, but in reality it does not connect to Old Bayberry Lane. So just check that. So Avalon and Suncrest as we run down, and then Highview, and we still have 1,500 gallon a minute, 1,300 gallon a minute hydrants there. So Avalon, Suncrest, Highview, and then we run down to Shorecrest, and each of these has a hydrant down midway down. I just want to, so we're not having too many issues with that. Shorecrest, Seaview, 2 S's, that might be a good way to remember. Shoreview, Seaview and Shorecrest, and then we should come to Harborview, Veeder Lane. Oops, sorry about that, left out Veeder. Okay, and then Harborview. You know, obviously we don't want to get tricked by that when someone calls in for Harborview. Perhaps if they're short in their report of a fire or medical, we don't confuse that with the Harborview Apartments. Then we make sure it's clear that it's Harborview Drive in East Falmouth. And then we have Gage Drive in Edgewood. And you'll notice here Gage is one of the only paved roads. Not that that matters too much to us, but the rest of them are dirt roads. And anybody in here been here for more than a few months should have been told or should already know that Shorewood is disconnected, I should say, at the end, but there's also a Shorewood Drive in Great Harvest, and it's blocked off, and the last house on the Shorewood off 28 is 257. So there's a pile of dirt and stone here, as we're all aware of, and then Shorewood Drive off Great Harvest. That's why dispatch it needs to make sure they say it's Shorewood off 28 or Shorewood off Great Harvest. And we'll also remember that when we go over to Alcott. I remember Alcott comes to Great Harvest and up in the 7L, but we'll talk about that at another time. So we go over that. Now we'll just take a quick shot at a couple of houses in the neighborhood. If they come up here. There we go. Here's one small cottage, probably 600 square feet or less. There used to be a lot of these, and a lot of maybe some that are a little twice the size of that, but this area here was built up in the late 40s, 50s, and 60s, and has since transitioned into these type of houses here, which you know, is one of the things we have to key on. There's not too many of these large homes in that neighborhood, but we do have to, you know, recall, and when we're thinking about neighborhoods, we think about some areas of town that are in transition from being cottage colonies perhaps to large buildings, structures like that. But the predominance in Shorewood here is ranches and capes, and not this probably 3,000 square foot home. But they do exist there, and this would also, if this, you know, we would have a large fire here, it would have an exposure for the rear house. Okay, going over that pretty quick and easy. So as we run down, I need to make a quick correction there and put in, after Seaview, right, we need to put in Veeder. Oops. Drive, there we go. So we mentioned before, these are wood frame single-family dwellings, 1940s to the current construction, 600 to 3,000 square foot. Road, Shorewood is of course the main road, ends at 257. Okay, we have Family Lane, Avalon, so Family, Avalon, Suncrest, Highview, Shorecrest, Seaview, Veeder, Harborview, Gage, and Edgewood Drive. Okay. Response times from different stations. Station 5, obviously this is their district, about 1.5 miles from the station, should be about 4 minutes. Headquarters, nearly 4 miles. This is to an address on Seaview Drive, so this is about midway down Shorewood. So you're probably talking to get to the entrance of Shorewood, probably around about 1 mile, and for headquarters about 3 miles. Headquarters should be able to get there in approximately 6 minutes, in that area. If for some reason they're tied up, this is the next two beyond that. Surprisingly, Station 4 is only about 1 mile greater than headquarters from Shorewood. So not a great amount of distance. I'm sure they could maybe get there in 8 or 9 minutes. And then Station 2 is next closest, and 3 beyond that. Okay, that about wraps up this short version of neighborhood training for this week. And we do have, we'll work on Acapesket Road, we'll work on Great Harbors, and then 7Ls, and then we have, when we do Acapesket, we're going to have to work on this area up here at the southern terminus of where Acapesket and Minot work together. So till we see you next time, stay safe and eat healthy.